Hello everybody, and in this video I'm going to show you how I made a portable semi-ISO cab for my 212. And when I say portable, I wanted to make something from scratch that I could remove from the front of my cab, which you can see in the background, and store away if I need to or want to. And when I say semi-ISO cab, it is not a true isolation cab. It's really just built to knock down the decibels that are coming from my amp into the room. The main reason for this is if maybe you live in an apartment or a house with other people and you want to run your amp cab hard enough to get nice tone out of it, you don't want to annoy them too much when you're tracking all day or all night. So I tried to make something that would knock down the overall volume that was going throughout the house and would be easy enough to break down and move to the side, because this is my cab I'm going to be using for shows as well. So I don't want it to be locked away forever or difficult to move or maneuver. So right off the bat, I am not a woodworker by any means. I did my best and so far it's working really well. And this is what it looks like when it's broken down into the pieces that you can then store away or tuck somewhere. It is basically made up of two end pieces that sit on the amp. It has a cross beam and then a cover. All right, before I get to the how to do this, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. And if you're new here, please go to the description below. There's all kinds of links there for discounts on things, so I appreciate that very much. All right, so now I'm gonna head over to the computer, get a voiceover going for you as I roll out the video of me making this thing. So right off the bat, the cost of this total build was $60. And of course, you do not have to build yours like this. This might just give you ideas. You can do it exactly like mine, change a few things, whatever works best for you. So what I had available at the local Lowe's was a 42-inch by 1 1/4 inch piece of wood, and I had to get 3 of them. I also got some wood glue, some wood screws, washers, nuts, and bolts. And of course, I needed something as the cover, so I got a moving blanket. Moving blankets are dense and thick, and they really block sound and absorb it nicely. So first things first, you're gonna wanna get your measurements. And as you saw in the beginning, there's kind of 2 L pieces that sit on the cab, there's a cross beam. So that's where you're gonna need to get your measurements for. So for me, which will probably be different from your 212, unless you're also making this for a 212 recto, but I got my notes here, and for the, I'll call them an L piece, that was a 20-inch length piece by a 13-inch length piece. And the crossbeam ended up being 27 3/4. And in the great words of Bob Vila, make sure to measure twice and cut once. All right, and for the sake of time, I'm going to speed up this video of me cutting wood. So once all of my wood pieces were cut, I went ahead and cleaned up the ends with a little 100 grit sandpaper. Next up, I was gonna make the L pieces. And for that, I just would make a pilot hole, add a little glue, and then use a wood screw to mate them together. Once those were done, I set them aside to let the glue dry, and I went ahead and moved on to my crossbeam piece. And because I wanted this whole project to be very portable, I wanted to break it down all the way. So I wanted the crossbeam to be able to be removed from the 2 L pieces. So to do that, I came up with the idea of using wooden dowels that would slide in and out of holes on the L pieces. And I wanted the wooden dowels to live in the crossbeam. So I went ahead and drilled holes into the crossbeam, put some glue on the dowel, and shoved those in and let them dry. Then I moved to the L brackets and just drilled a hole there. I didn't put a dowel, just a hole. And now you can see how those 3 pieces all go together. And of course, it won't stand up on its own because the other side is where the cab's gonna go, and the cab is gonna support the L beams. After that, it was time to move on to the cover/moving blanket. And I decided to make this in two pieces. The top piece, which will cover the top and the sides of the, I'll quote unquote, ISO cab, and then another piece in the back. So I had kind of one long, narrow piece and then one more squared off piece. When cutting this, I gave myself an extra inch on all measurements because I know I would be bunching those up and connecting them together with my ingenious bolt, washer, and nut combination. So what I did to create the hole in the moving blanket is I just used a pocket knife very carefully, not to cut myself, to put a little, pilot hole or starter hole to shove the bolt through. In total, I ended up using 11 bolts to put these two pieces together. And of course, there are a million different ways that you can put these two pieces of moving blanket together. I just thought this was a wacky, weird way of doing it, so I went with it, and it was super cheap. So once that was done, I took it downstairs, did a quick, moment of truth. Is it gonna fit? It did. And it's not the prettiest thing, but it does the job. It helps a lot. It knocks down quite a bit of sound from, annoying whoever you might be living with. All in all, I'm really happy with the way it turned out. It was a really fun project to put together. Like I said, it is not the prettiest thing in the world, but it does its job. If you found this useful in any way, please like this video, and until next time, see you later.